Alright everybody, what's happening? It's just a quick video I just wanted to make because it is Back to the Future Day, October 21st, 2015. If you don't know, if you're hiding under an internet rock, this would be the day that Marty McFly came to the future in Back to the Future 2. Spoiler alert. So, if you haven't seen these absolutely fantastic films by now, go watch them. Like, stop what you're doing. Like, stop this video right now and go watch them. I think they're about hour and a half a piece, hour 45 minutes a piece, so you should be able to get it through. They're all, I mean, some people consider it just one film because it's broken into three parts and they're um, continuations of each other, like literally direct continuations. So um, some consider it one film, some consider it three, whichever you believe. It's great. Back to the Future, this story is great. Um, but, Back to the Future 2, uh, into the actual future, which is now the present, which is very hard to think about, is, October 21st, you know, 2015. Um, and, things are different, obviously. Things are different from what was portrayed in Back to the Future 2 rather than what's portrayed here. Um, I would say, I'm not going to go too in depth because I think a lot of other people have gone into depth. But just briefly, we don't have flying cars accessible. Um, Hoverboards are not accessible. That pizza thing is not really a thing. It's plausible, but it wouldn't like taste very well. I don't think because you would just be dousing it with water essentially. Um, the self-lacing shoes or like the compression shoes of one size fits all does not exist as of right now. There are definitely, there are many different things. The holograms are not, up to that kind of snuff as portrayed with Jaws 19. We don't have Jaws 19, but you know, that kind of joke has sort of stood the test of time. But um, there's a lot that's different from what we were, shown in Back to the Future 2. However, many people might say that Back to the Future was wrong. I say that is an incorrect way to look at it. Back to the Future 2 is not a prediction of the future. It was one possible outcome in a string of infinite outcomes that could have happened, um, starting from 1985, right? Or 19, what was it? 1989 is when Back to the Future 2 came out. Um, Over the course of, um, you know, almost 30 some over almost 30 years, 26 years, over the course of 26 years, there have been countless, you cannot count the number of decisions that have been made in just the US alone, um, that could have potentially altered the timeline. So basically there are pretty much an infinite number of outcomes that could have happened, um, for the future. Who knows? Maybe, like, even the fact that, say, I don't know, um, Tom Brady, Patriots quarterback, decided to not blow his nose when he sneezed, um, on, December 1st, 1999, at 3 p.m., could have changed the way that he interacted with something, that could have changed this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to the future, there's so much that can influence it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just something as simple as that could have caused a chain of reactions that would have changed history as we know it. So Back to the Future 2 was not wrong. It was one possible outcome of infinite outcomes that could have happened. Um, what we are experiencing is the outcome that did actually happen. Um, Now, of course, you know, what is the greatest, what is the prime message that Back to the Future gives us? Um, and that is simply the future is not written. That is, Doc Brown says it many times. The future is not written. Um, as shown by the all three films, you know, they were able to change history by going back into the past, the future, etc. Um, so with that being said, um, you know, the future is not written. I don't, if you don't believe that, that's fine. If you do believe that, that's also fine. I'm not here to argue whether or not it's right or wrong. But the concept, if you're saying that Back to the Future is wrong, look at it from that perspective of the future is not written, basically. Um, so the whole infinite outcomes is basically mirroring that fact that the future, or not the fact, but the opinion of the message of Back to the Future that the future is not written. It can be changed by the simplest thing. Um, what is important is that you live um, making the right choices so that the future is good and is bright. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that is the primary goal of, the primary message, the moral that Back to the Future tries to teach us is that you make the right decisions now because the future is not written. You are not necessarily destined to fall into darkness or whatever, whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? You make the right decisions now, and it could affect, a different. It could change your future to something much better. Because if you're making all the wrong decisions, which is the point of Back to the Future One, um, you know, uh, George McFly not standing up to Biff and being a coward, and then basically being Biff's bitch up until Marty was able to change that. Marty racing in Back to the Future 2, Marty racing those guys, being so edgy and being provoked easily, changed him. Was going to have him eventually fired from his job. Again, being Biff's bitch, and him as well, and being fired from his job and just having a horrible life. But the fact that he was able to learn to make the right decisions, of course, Back to the Future 3, he, instead of racing those guys and losing his car, he decided not to. He decided to not do the stupid thing and not give in to provocation, and he kept his car, and his life was good. It's implied that his and Jennifer's lives were very good. They were happy because he learned through time travel that it's not necessarily about, are you, live for now because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. It's, make the right decisions now so that your tomorrow is better. Um, so, that is Back to the Future at its core. And, to say that it got the future wrong is just, you're missing the point. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of missing what Back to the Future is all about. So, that's going to be it. Tell me what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed this little non-anime blog sort of thing. So, tell me what you guys think in the comment section, and see you guys in another video.